Okay, so in this unit, we're going to be talking about the parts of the digestive system. Okay, so we begin in the esophagus. So the esophagus has a mucosal coating, just like your mouth and most other parts of the digestive system. And you also have stratified squamous epithelium here because just like in the mouth, you have a whole lot of friction happening, and so you want lots of protection. The esophagus, when it's empty, basically folds flat so it doesn't stay open like the trachea does, and it only opens or kind of stretches as the food passes through and then closes right back up. The glands secrete mucus as a bolus and moves through the esophagus. So in the digestive process, basically food is ingested. Mechanical digestion begins immediately with chewing. You also have some chemical digestion happening as the salivary amylase mixes with the food. Propulsion is initiated by swallowing. The pharynx and esophagus serve as conduits to pass the food from the mouth to the stomach. And in the stomach, you've got chemical breakdown of proteins, and the food is basically converted to chyme. So look at the structure of the stomach here. You see up at the top, we have what's called the fundus. And the tissue is called the serosa. And then the main kind of bulk of the stomach is called the body. And then inside, and it's all wrapped, and you see the muscles, how they go. You have a longitudinal layer, circular layer, and oblique layer. And this is so that your stomach can churn in all different kinds of directions to churn up your food. And then you got the wrinkles, which are getting called the rugae. And you have gastric juices here. You've got mucus secreted here. Then it moves through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum, which is the beginning of the small intestine. The stomach is exposed to the harshest conditions in the digestive tract, so it has to have that mucosal membrane to protect it. And it's made of a bicarbonate-rich mucus in the stomach wall. And the cells and the glands also have cells that are impermeable to hydrochloric acid. So they're specially evolved to be able to withstand that high acidic environment. And then also there's a high cell turnover rate here in the stomach, and any damaged epithelial cells will be quickly replaced. The functions of the stomach is to obviously hold ingested food, to break it down physically and chemically, to deliver that chyme to the small intestine. It has pepsin, which helps digest proteins. And it secretes an intrinsic factor that is needed in order to be able to absorb vitamin B12. The carbohydrate-rich chyme quickly moves through the duodenum. And the chyme that has a lot of fat in it is digested more slowly, causing food to remain in the stomach longer. The small intestine has 3 divisions: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. And inside the small intestine, you've got small modifications that help increase the surface area, called villi, and on top of those, microvilli. So this really increases the surface area so that you can really absorb as many nutrients as you can. So in the duodenum, carbohydrates and proteins are only partially digested at this point. It started in the stomach and is going to be finished in the small intestine. So no fat digestion has yet taken place. The required substances needed to digest that fat are supplied by the liver. Virtually all nutrient absorption takes place in the small intestine. A few things are absorbed in the large intestine, but for the most part, it is all the small intestine. Any meal remnants, bacteria, mucosal cells, or debris will be removed by the large intestine. This is also where 95% of the water is reabsorbed in your body. That helps keep you from getting dehydrated. The liver secretes bile, which helps dissolve fat, and it secretes it into the small intestine. The pancreas has both an endocrine and exocrine function. Its exocrine function is that it secretes a pancreas juice, which helps break down most different types of food. It also has an endocrine function, which it releases insulin and glucagon, which helps regulate blood sugar. So as your blood sugar rises, Insulin rises. As your blood sugar drops, glucagon rises. Pancreatic cancer is an extremely lethal cancer, and one of the reasons why is because it goes undetected until it is advanced. And the symptoms for it are very non-specific, and so they're usually overlooked. These can just be things like fatigue and stomach pain and heartburn. So things that most people have, so doctors even will overlook it. Risk factors can include a family history of it, smoking or use of tobacco, obesity or a sedentary lifestyle, a fatty diet, or diabetes. The 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer is only 4%. The large intestine is divided into the cecum, the appendix, colon, rectum, and anal canal. So we begin in the ascending, really in the cecum. So the food begins and enters down here, and then enters up the ascending canal, across the transverse canal, down the descending canal, and then eventually out the rectum. Other functions include, other than removing bacteria, you've got vitamins, water, and electrolytes that are reabsorbed here. But the main function of it is to remove waste and fecal matter out of the body. So though it is essential for comfort, you wouldn't want to not have it. It is not essential for life, and you could survive without it. There are some really good bacteria in the colon that help tremendously in digestion. So the bacteria surviving in the small intestine can enter the cecum, and those entering, there's also that can enter via the anus. But these bacteria colonize the colon and help digest things that are previously indigestible. They can release irritating acids and gases, which is what causes gas, and they help synthesize B complex vitamins as well as vitamin K that your body does use. So they have both a good side and a bad side. You just want them to stay in your large intestine and not get into your body, because that could cause massive, massive infection.